So the year is 2025, and more than ever, I'm noticing people turn their backs on green. Now, when I say green, I hope you know what I'm talking about. I'm just using the particular word green to replace it for another word, so we don't upset YouTube. And I feel like I'm most definitely qualified to talk on this topic because I've been smoking consistently, I'd say probably for around 7 years. Pretty much when I was 18, I was damn near doing it every day. Like, yeah, there's breaks in between here and there, but just for the sake of simplicity, let's just say that I smoked every day for like the past 8 years. And for those who keep up with my channel probably know that I stopped smoking around June last year and was going to continue smoking on New Year's. So that's pretty much a 6-month gap of no smoking. And I did this because I really thought if I stopped smoking, everything in my life would magically become better. I was seeing YouTube video after YouTube video being like, this addiction in my 20s changed my life. I stopped smoking for 2 months and now I'm the most productive I've ever been. So with that influence, I sort of stepped away like, damn, maybe I can be just genuinely a better person, a more productive person, and just get more out of life if I'm not smoking. And I definitely heard that you needed to give it a big chunk of time. You know, if I smoked for that long, stopping for a week is not going to do anything. In fact, I'd probably just feel withdrawals and that's it. But I do honestly feel like 6 months away from it after smoking every day is a big enough period to let you know what I personally think the effects are. And I just want to say a big disclaimer, which affects everyone differently. Like literally everyone. Those people that were saying their life turned for the better because they stopped smoking weed aren't probably lying. It's probably just how it affected them. And you know, those people, for instance, like Snoop Dogg or something that smokes every minute of every day. Obviously that hasn't negatively affected him. In fact, people would probably argue that it positively impacted him as he made a whole career off it. So like my experience might be totally different for someone else. Like for instance, a lot of the content I see out there is either super pro green in terms of like, yeah, green cures everything, I couldn't live without green. Or it's the complete opposite. Like there's sort of no in between. But to be honest, both of those extremes, I'm not really on either side. But let's just get into my experience. So when I stopped smoking, I had this expectation that life would just get better. Like my mental fog would lift and I'd magically become this super productive version of myself. Like that's sort of the narrative. Quit green and suddenly you're waking up at 5 a.m, hitting the gym, working on your goals, like all that self-improvement stuff. But man, if I'm being honest with you, none of that happened for me. 6 months of not smoking had passed and I felt the exact same. In fact, I don't even want to use the word exact because I would argue that me not smoking actually had worse effects than me smoking. And this again has to do with the type of person that you are. I feel like my whole life I've never really been like a normal dude to fit into society. I'm always sort of like, I don't know, I'm not necessarily an outsider, but like I'm not hitting the gym. I'm not trying to wake up early. I'm not technically smart. I don't want to get a normal job. I would say what fuels me is very creativity driven. And when I took green out of the equation, pretty much all my creativity was gone. Even consuming art, whether that be music, like physical art, movies, TVs, nothing was as good. Like during the time that I've been smoking, I would wake up and within like 10 minutes, I'm putting a song on and I'm probably listening to music throughout the whole day. This 6 months, I didn't even like music. One of my favorite things was to find new artists and all that. Not at all was I doing that. And like that would be fine if that creative urge wasn't there. But I wasn't getting any other positives by not smoking. So to me, all I'm really seeing is this big negative where it's like just my passion for art, all types of art is just gone. I was very into making beats at the time and I was very successful. I just literally stopped that. Like I wasn't vibing with anything. It was like part of me just shut off. And I did not see that coming because I was almost told that that's what I was doing by smoking. Now I'm going to talk about productivity because everyone says that's another big one. You know, everyone says quitting green makes you more productive and 100% that might be true for some people, but that argument is way too simple. Like sure, green can slow you down. Like if you're always baked, you're probably not going to be on your grind 24/7. But like productivity isn't just about being awake and sober. It's about wanting to do stuff and about being in the right mental space. And for me, I realized it wasn't the green that was stopping me from being productive. It was just my own drive and my own personal reasons. Like quitting didn't give me a magical burst of motivation. I still had the exact same thoughts, the same habits. I was just dealing with them sober. And you know, weed for me can also be a pulling force for me doing something. For instance, when I used to make beats, I would love just staying up all night, smoking and making beats. If the smoking wasn't there, I could see the making beats thing become very tedious, not creative, and just not creating like a good vibe. I don't know how to explain it besides vibe. I'm sorry for my lack of words. But like smoking green would make me want to do stuff and it would get me in the right headspace. Like even with editing these videos, for example, super tedious. Depending on the edit, it can take like an hour to like 3 hours. And I can either do it while I'm cooked or while I'm not. There's no difference in my productivity There's no difference in my drive, so I may as well. In fact, I might even be more creative once I do. And even just using the green as a reward, you know, I've just finished editing for 3 hours. Here's a reward. Now you can kick back. It wasn't necessarily stopping me from being productive. If anything, it was kind of motivating me to be productive and just work on what I want to work on. It makes everything I'm doing so much more fun. And like, there's research out there too. Some studies show that green can impair short-term memory and focus. And you know, that's true. But other studies suggest that the effects are highly individual, which is sort of what I'm trying to say. Like, some creative professionals say they can come up with their best ideas while they're high, and others feel the complete opposite. Like, it truly but depends on your brain. I can't keep saying it enough. Green for me was flipping a creative switch, and without green, the switch sort of stayed off, and I couldn't find the switch to turn it on. So after 6 months of being off the green, you know, New Year's rolls around and I decided to smoke again. And this wasn't like me giving up. Like, I wasn't planning on quitting smoking forever. I knew that this day, December 31st, that I was going to smoke again. And man, like, instantly, I just noticed an instant shift. And it's not necessarily me being high. Like, regardless of if I'm high or not, my tolerance is going to go down. But like, I just instantly felt so much more in touch with like creative things and art things. I found myself listening to music instantly. Like, instantly listening to music and enjoying it how I used to. Like, it wasn't necessarily about getting high. Like, it's so much deeper than that. I just found myself appreciating everything so much more. Whether that's art, movies, TV shows, music, literally what's in front of me, like the food in front of me, even just water. Like, I don't know. It's not necessarily that these things are different when I'm high. It's just like my brain perceives them as different. I don't know. I'm obviously not a scientist. And you know, now that I'm smoking again, I've had this big realization that I just stress less and I'm more accepting of the things that I can't change. And it's super interesting because one of my most depressing videos were when I was in the thick of it. Like, I'd gone past withdrawals. I'd probably about 3-4 months in, and I was just left with me. And looking back at it, like, I was kind of a sad kid. My family always trying to get me to go to the doctors, going on this drug. But like, pharmaceutical drugs, man, aren't it. Unless you're using them recreationally, which is kind of crazy to say. But like, they aren't it. For me, at least. I really want to clarify that. For me, at least. So like, when I'm faced with either this natural plant that I can have fun with, that I can sit back, I can enjoy, and there's a process of like smoking it, versus a pharmaceutical pill that I just swallow and then all these like unnatural toxins are in my body, I would choose the natural plant 11 times out of 10. And this break and coming back has really taught me that like, this is a medicine. You know, green is very much used recreationally, but like, they call it medicine for a reason. And I didn't realize it, like, because I was smoking every day, but my stress levels and just my general care for things that I can't change are just so heightened if I'm not smoking. Call it anxiety, call it depression, whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm not going to a doctor to diagnose it, but whatever is going on in my head, the perfect medicine is weed. And this break has sort of made me realize that. With that being said though, I really want to state, like, weed can be an addiction. Very much so. I think there's studies to show that you can't necessarily be physically dependent on it, but mentally you can. And I do agree with that. Like, this can be very addicting. Green can be very addicting because it's cool. It's fun. It makes you feel good. So I don't want this video to be like a green check mark. Like, yeah, weed's fine. You can't get addicted. It doesn't affect your mental. No, I'm just going to swing it back around to it affects everyone differently. Like, for instance, when I was younger, I was a bit more addicted, a bit more fiendly, and I would do stuff out of my way to just smoke. Whereas like, now as an adult, like, if I don't have that opportunity for 24 hours, I'm chilling. So it really can be addicting. It's really up to you whether you see it as crippling or not, because I really want to state that it can be addicting. And you see the people that just can't go anywhere without smoking, can't eat without smoking. And to be honest, that's why smoking is there as a medicine. But I wonder if the medicine has been overused to a point where some people become reliant on it. Because when I say I was smoking for 7 years straight, in Australia, the culture is heaps different. I'm not smoking a blunt every hour with 3 grams in it. No, probably like once every 2-3 hours, I'll have a cone. And a cone is just a bong, like I don't know what you Americans call it, but it's just a bowl. It's just a bong. So like, I'd be putting, I don't even know, like 0.2, 0.3 in one of them, and having that like once every 3 hours. So realistically, I'm only smoking like a G a day, where some people go through a crazy amount in a day. And I guess it sort of comes down to tolerance. So yeah, I'll be smoking, but realistically, not as much as opposed to others. I will do a quick side note as well. Mixing green with tobacco is not cool. I know you Americans have been super like normalized to it, because everyone either be smoking blunts or this and that, but there's no need to mix it, man. It's just so much cleaner when it's just straight weed. And I often wonder with the studies, like when it comes to addiction or whatever, if these people that are smoking also have the nicotine association with it. I used to always think that about my homies. We'd always used to mix the green with tobacco in Australia. We call it spin or something like that. It's completely normal. Like, if you're from Australia, it is so normal to put tobacco green and then smoke it out of a bong. But anyway, it got me really thinking, like, people that do that, people that smoke blunts, do they have that part in their brain that wants a bong because they're associating it with nicotine? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just a note for you. If you can eliminate tobacco from smoking, do it, because there really is no need. I think a lot of people use green as a scapegoat. Like, if life isn't going how they want, green becomes the easiest thing to blame. And don't get me wrong, there are people who absolutely need to quit. Like, if it's generally holding you back and affecting your mental health, or just generally stopping you from showing up in your life, then do what you gotta do. But that, like, I quit and everything got better narrative, it is not universal, especially not for me. I think the real problem is kind of deeper. If you're unmotivated, if you're stuck, and if you're unhappy, green might be one of the symptoms, like one of the causes, but it's probably not the root cause. Quitting might give you the clarity, sure, but clarity doesn't guarantee change. And that's how it sort of worked for me. Like, I didn't notice when I stopped smoking that everything in my life was better, but it really did give me clarity and let me really think and step back. Like, do I need this substance? How does this substance affect me? Is it positive or negative? Like, for some people, quitting is life-changing, and for others like me, it might not make a difference at all, and that's okay. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here. I'm not here to tell you green is good or bad. I'm literally just sharing my experience. And after 8 years of smoking almost daily, after quitting for a solid 6 months, and after coming back to it, I can confidently say green was not the thing holding me back. It was myself and, like, my actions. If anything, green helped me connect with parts of myself that I missed and I really enjoy and like. And you know, it reminded me that life isn't always about grinding and hustling. Like, when I wasn't smoking, making a YouTube video or making a beat just felt like work. But now if I do smoke and I start editing a video, like, it's fun. Like, life isn't always about grinding and hustling. Sometimes it's just about straight up vibing. And to me, a big important thing in my life is, like, art, and just appreciating art and finding what you connect with the most. I'm talking music, I'm talking TV, I'm talking movies, I'm talking YouTube. And you definitely start appreciating the people around you more. And look, I know this isn't what some people expected to hear from me, but I still hope you enjoyed the video. I'm super curious to know what you guys think about this in the comments, so let me know. Like the video if you enjoyed the video, and of course subscribe if you like this kind of video. And yeah, man, as always, all my links in the description. And yeah, man, I love you all and appreciate all of you. Don't look at me differently because I'm a smoker. I'm still the same dude. But yeah, it's been Once Faded. Peace.